Kids and cadets, welcome back to Tommy Time. Thanks for coming out. What we have here is the Disastrous Duo. This is a 2009 Troy-Bilt XP. The engine is shot. We looked at this one yesterday. No compression, and it sounds like the connecting rod bearing is worn out. There's a lot of play in the engine. I did snoop around my scrap yard last night, and I think I found a replacement engine for it. It was a Craftsman front wheel drive that I've been pulling parts off of. I may just grab that engine and put it on this deck. This Bolens here, well, actually that says yard machine, but last night it said Bolens. I've switched it out. This was a 2018 engine. We had no compression on this. I adjusted the valves, nothing, took the head off, looked for crack or damage in the head gasket, nothing. You're probably wondering yesterday, did I check the keyway? I did check the keyway. That was where it should have been, so there was probably some sort of internal damage with this. I did have both valves off in my hand, and I didn't see any carbon buildup or any damage to either of the valves. So don't know what's going on with this, but I had recently dismantled 3 engines due to rusty decks. This happens to be a long shaft like the Bolens was. The other engines either had pulleys for front wheel drive or they were short shafts, crankshafts. So I marked this one as good, starts and runs. So I probably happy juice this thing to see if it would kick off. Looking at the intake here, it's all dirty, so that tells me I did not clean this unit. So we're going to throw this up on my tailgate. The yard machine happens to be a 2015, so it's a little older than the 2018 Bolens. They're both 500E series, I believe. Yes, so it'll be even Steven. The blade on the Bolens was turned upside down. I used the same blade here, attached it to the yard machine engine, turned the blade properly, so we got a fresh blade on this. So let me manhandle this on the tailgate. I have everything here I need to disassemble and clean the carb, so that's what today's project is. I'll keep you kids and cadets around for this project, and then I'll go to my scrap yard and see if I can get that quantum style engine off of the Craftsman front wheel drive deck. Lot happening at Tommy Time, so stick around, have a nice day, and let's go to work. Also, last night I had taken both front wheels off and broke the rust on the bushing, so we have 2 freewheeling front wheels now. So I got the sun to my back. Let's get you up here so I can show you what we're doing. Hopefully my iPad doesn't overheat. Sun's getting warm and bright. It may overheat my iPad. So let's go to town. 8mm or 5/16. I'm going to remove the recoil first so I can remove the tank. Drain the tank, air blast that. We'll clean the carburetor and put it all back together again. That same 5/16 or 8mm, we're going to remove the 2 outer sheet metal screws here from the carburetor backing plate. Oh, wait a minute. We gotta consult the green lady. This calls for some motivation so early in the morning. So let me consult with her. Oh, yeah. Yeah, she's ready to go, and so am I. Let's plow ahead. So somebody asked me, you can't be drinking the green lady juice all the time. And no, I buy bulk Aldi medium roast is my go-to. I can't afford the green lady all the time. I'd be broke. That's only for rich, fancy people. I'm just a backyard mechanic that works on a tailgate. There's nothing fancy at Tommy Time except for this used DeWalt. I got at a yard sale and bought a couple of aftermarket batteries for it. This has come in handy. Switching gears, I'm moving over to my 7mm to get the inner two screws here. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I can usually disassemble this and clean it in 20 minutes and put it back together again. So I'm going to keep plowing ahead. So I lift the tank off. That's just here on the sitting on the recoil. Remove the backing plate, the breather hose, and I take it off all as one, just to make it less dirty as far as spilling gas all over the place. So my O-ring and the keeper stayed on the intake tube, so I'm gonna put those to the side. I need to reinstall those. So all the gas is going to be here safely in the tank. I'm not going to spill anything except for what's in the hose. Pliers, bring my clamp down and just give this a twist and a pull, and I'll clean out the gas in the tank really quick. Let me get a glass jar and I'll show you what was in there. I was not ready for you, but I will be here in a second. I have a glass jar that I can use. I'm just going to use an old salsa jar, mild. I can't take the hot stuff. I'm a chicken. Okay, so a lot of debris in the gas, and I don't see any water. Just a lot of debris. So this might be a quick clean. So I'm going to blast off the tank with some compressed air, just get the tank cleaned out. So that's ready to go. I'll put this aside, something like that. Now we'll go to work on the carburetor. The same two screws here are the 7mm, so we're going to remove those. They have a flat washer on them to keep the bowl on. I just dropped one of them. We need that for later. So I'll show you how to take the bowl off using a large screwdriver. Thought I had everything out and about, but as is always, shade tree mechanic, I was not ready and prepared. So take your large screwdriver, just stick it in this wedge and twist like so. So you got an air gap here. I can just go ahead and take it off completely now. So we got a little bit of fuel in the bowl remaining. I'll pour that out into the salsa jar. Little compressed air to clean out the bowl. Bowl is now ready. Let me see. Just looking at the jet, the main jet, I can tell it's open. There's nothing blocking it. But what we're going to do is take out the cartridge and separate the main and secondary jets, and then we're going to clean out the secondary jet at the same time. So that looks like it's open as well, but we're going to separate it here. Take my cartridge, small screwdriver there, pry up. Sometimes you'll have some debris in here blocking these holes, some snot, so it's good to separate your cartridge into two pieces and clean that up with some compressed air. Blow that out. So I think the deal with this thing might have been old fuel. So I'm open here, so the cartridge is clean. I'm just gonna take some compressed air and clean out all the yard debris that I can see inside the throat here of the carburetor, and then clean up in here a little bit. Clean up these three openings in the cartridge assembly area. So blast a little air through your air breather tube here. So I think we're good on that. Let's start putting it back together again. My jet cartridge assembly, I'll reassemble this. My hands are dirty. I'm going to get rid of that remaining residue here. Push down on that the proper way. Keep pushing till it dead ends. Back into the carburetor body, it only goes in one way. 2 thumbs down, but don't do that on my review. It's 2 thumbs up. Float bowl is free and clear. Just blew some air into here from my partially deflated lungs. Check condition of the needle, and it's working as it should. Up position, no air should pass through. Down, it lets air in, mimicking gas flow. Time for the bowl. quick blast. Look for your main jet. This little cavity here is where the fuel ends up, and the brass jet sits down in there and picks up the fuel for carburetor delivery. So that goes on like that. Cavity here, my main jet's there. Line up the holes, give it a squeeze, and now I'm ready for my 7mm screws with the wide washers. So I'm just going to get a small 1/4-inch ratchet and put these in. I don't want to use my impact on these just because it's plastic. I don't want to go berserk and strip out these plastic threads. If I were to, I could use a long threaded bolt and a washer here. I have plenty of room to use a nut and bolt if I do end up stripping out the threads here. So I'm going to remove the 1/4-inch drive 7mm from my impact and just use a handheld ratchet. Tighten these up by hand. So I've got fresh fuel. We can try starting this after I drop the carburetor on the ground. Little shaky shake might have helped it out, knocked any of the debris I missed in the carburetor loose. That's what I'm saying. So that's snug. Go up here, that's snug. So time for my O-ring and the keeper. Black O-ring goes in to the channel. My white keeper on top, 2 thumbs down. This will click into place if I can line it up. So it just clicked in, so we're ready to reassemble this. These are tight. This is on. Throttle is free and clear. So I'll put this tank on after I put the carb on first. We assemble it in 2 pieces. Let me take my 8mm or 5/16 and tighten up these 2 bolts here since I have the carb off. Just a little 1/4 turn on those, tighten those down. Put my linkage back on the carburetor. Feed it back over the intake tube. Now I'm going to get my tank started. Just set it on the 2 notches. Now I'm going to bring my fuel line and line it up with the intake nipple on the carburetor. Push the tank all the way down and now force the fuel line onto the carb. Going to use needle nose. Put my clamp in place so we don't have any fuel leaking. I'm going to take compressed air and just do a quickie clean up on this debris. Okay, little cleanup on that. Put my air breather hose on. I'm going to start with my 2 7mm here on the carburetor body. Get those started first. got one started, second one started. I'll hand tighten these as well, just so I can feel when I'm getting too much of a torque. Okay, so those are snug. You don't have to go crazy. We have a gasket in place there that's doing its job. Now my 8s, the sheet metals, I'll put those on, or the 5/16 as well. It's the same size. Okay, got those started. So we're nearly done. We'll finish tighten this thing up. Use the 5/16 or 8mm to put the recoil on. I've got some fresh non-ethanol fuel nearby. We'll fuel it while it's on the tailgate. And then hopefully this thing starts. Hopefully Frankenstein cooperates. We just turned a Bolens into a yard machine. I could change